Big shout out to a huge portion of my education, which is Yestermar Design Build School, along with the community housing that I live with right now, called Narnia, the G. Great place. So yeah, getting started. After college, didn't really know what to do for a while, but I finally decided that I want to be a snowboarder on the road, follow my passion while hopefully applying some of my education that I can pursue in the future. Still in practice much of the time. Just recently I got back from a snowboarding trip, a backcountry snowboarding trip in Canada, where I experienced trying to sleep while trying to pee in negative 30-degree weather in a snow cave. It was not fun. And on top of that, a little bit later, I got some pretty nasty frost nip on my fingers, which makes picking my nose rather difficult, surprisingly. So, aside from that, things have been good. I'm okay. And it made me realize that a tiny housemobile is probably the perfect thing for a snowboarder on the road. That's really where my inspiration came from. I actually didn't even mind that it snowed about 14 inches outside while I was doing this entire design. So it wasn't easy, as a few of us said. It's like an impossible puzzle piece, the entire process. Just fitting all the little pieces that we can onto a small trailer. I had to work with a lot of restrictions, such as cost. I'm trying to keep, or I will keep, the whole project under $8,000. Size is definitely a difficult thing. I'm going to be working on that and trying to keep it as low as possible for a reason that I'll talk about later. And mainly just trying to put my stuff in the right spots, the biggest challenge, and took up most of my time while I was here. And I came up with some good solutions, I believe. But I want to go through the process of how this whole thing started. We laid out some of the activities that I do, and moving on to what I would need while I'm out on the road. I have a little list of stuff, kind of really limited myself minimally. Here's a few designs that I started out with after using some of the methods that we use, which is making little scrap pieces, little grids, kind of lining them up into grids. And the most useful tool that I had was a masking tape, real-life size model in the back next to the dining hall, where I was able to cut out pieces of furniture, kind of maximize their sizes, and move them around in the right spot. And I really feel like I found the right arrangement, until I found out that I had to build inside the wheel well. And that threw me about like a day or two behind. It took me a while to figure it out. These are the old models, and I'm going to move into the new one. So this is my design. Here's the trailer. And on top of that trailer is the frame. I really like to pay attention to the sun, so while I'm on the road, site plan isn't really much of something that I'm thinking about besides the location of the sun. I really like to think about the sun. It's kind of the whole permaculture side of me that likes to track that. So here we have the winter angles and the summer angles. This is my south end and north end. And then moving on to the really difficult part, which was my stuff in such a small trailer. It's a 12 by 8.5 trailer. I did a little bump out, 2-foot bump out, so I can fit a kitchen and try to really make all my essentials there. So when I'm snowboarding during the day, I can go to work afterwards, and it's really just a place where I can sleep and eat and bathe. And on top of that, if I'm out in the backcountry, it's a place where I can be safe, a place where if I do get too cold, I can come back to it and be assured that it's a warm place where I can start a fire. So that was also a huge part of this design. I didn't need to do the dimensioning, but it definitely helps me kind of figure out where everything is. I guess going back to the windows, I have dual French door, which was really tough to fit. It definitely was complicated fitting that over the wheel well, so I actually raised the floor a little bit over the wheel well, so the whole thing's going to be raised a little bit, which comes up onto a platform where I hide my bed. It's a single bed for the most part, but if I want it to be a twin bed, it can extend out a little bit of wiggle room up to the door to kind of give me that extra space. On the platform, I have a wood stove and kind of space to do whatever I need, open up the space a little bit. Over here, we have a really funky bathroom. It's a wet bathroom, so it's going to be a cedar toilet, hopefully, with just a shower nozzle. I do want to lay this out right now because the rest is just kind of just the kitchen, the refrigerator with the stove on top of that, and the sink. And when I lay down the systems diagram, it kind of maps out most of my systems for the most part. Hopefully, eventually, all the fecal material on my throne will be put into a biodigester so I can transfer the methane gauge into a propane gauge into a methane gauge. All of my urine gets diverted into my gray water, right into the downspout of my shower. Here is my potable water collected by the rain. I might have to have a other hookup source at some point in the beginning. This is kind of like a future end goal of my systems. This is not including electrical, so it's not including a solar panel. For the most part, it's pretty straightforward. All the systems are really tried to locate on the north side where there's no windows and I can keep it away from the sight of neighbors. And it has all the flows, and I marked some of the hazardous materials that I might want to really be paying attention to. Now kind of heading towards the fun stuff. Here is my side view plan, my height. That's what it looks like. This is my little first split board put on top of that. And up here you might be kind of wondering what's going on. That's a rail. Hopefully, eventually I can be working with people to kind of figure out the whole roof. The roof design is definitely something that I'm not too set on, but I think eventually if I work with some skate park crews and snow park crews, along with some really good roofers and roof designers and other designers, I can get a roof that would really kind of suit what I'm trying to make this whole thing, which is almost like a marketable ski arena when I'm not shredding powder. So this is kind of what it looks like. There's two upgoing ramps, which would be this and that. So you can hit a rail right there. This is a drop-in platform. You can climb up a ladder, strap into your snowboard, and drop in if you need to hit a rail over there. Little jumps on either side. You can use this either as a wall ride or a gap. The whole thing is kind of very versatile. The problem is that it's so high, the jumps need to be pretty big. And I kind of would like to lower the whole thing a little bit and bring the roof down a little bit to really give myself more versatility.
You lift them up.
Yeah, for sure. So check this out. It's pretty crude. Put it together really quick. The porch folds up. This is over the tongue, so it can't cantilever, bump out, and so it's going to be pulling this way. And this is my north wall. This is my south wall. This is where I enter into my house. Wish I had some time to put doors on it, but didn't. Cooling wall definitely gives me an idea of the proportions. One thing that I am worried about is giving myself enough ceiling space. That's kind of why I chose the ceiling, is because since I'm trying to build over the wheel well, the floor is going to be raised about another 14 inches. And that's going to be a challenge, but I think working with some people, kind of figuring out what I can do creatively up top and above, because I only really worked out the floor plan, might be able to bring the whole thing down a little bit so it is actually really rideable comfortably without being really dangerous. And that is my whole plan. I'm really looking for a lot of help on this project. I'm hoping to get it on the road at some point next winter. I know that's not a lot of time, but I'm totally willing to dedicate tons of time to it. And I'd love to have people help me on designs, or really just any way. Constructive criticism, harsh as it can be, is probably the most useful thing I can get right now. So thank you guys very much.